Good afternoon, and welcome to Man Cave Meditations. Let's dive in. So, with this, sustained barrage of just, nonsense, but any of these nonsensical things that are being thrown at the wall, at the American people, at the whole system, at the media, any of these things, anyone who hasn't grown up in anyone say who is, an adult like the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, any of these things that are happening right now that are being thrown against the wall, they would have dominated a news cycle during that time. Any of them. I can't even imagine what they may not be printing books at that point, but you go through an American history book if you were to print one right now. I swear to God, if you made a 500-page book, you probably fit the first, 200 pages up to like 2001 when, September 11th happened. Maybe another 50 pages between there and 2016. And the other 200 plus pages would be like from 2016 until now. Okay? It's like the amount of chaos that we had been used to dealing with within, if you make a ration, not an equation, a fraction? Numerator, denominator of, the denominator is time and the numerator is chaos, right? We seem to be, at least to a degree, until Trump came along, we were kind of going up, chaos was increasing. You'd have wars and this and that, but versus time, again, numerator, denominator, right? Chaos over time. And then, but once he came, it was like the numerator just increased like tenfold. In his first term, it was like, and then now, because there are no boundaries to him, it's just like, zoo, woo. It's like a roller coaster that brings you vertical. Okay? Unrepressed chaos in action, expressing itself, right? Without resistance. Minimal resistance. Oh. And, I've also talked about the fact that these increased, the increase in intensity of these charades, these antics that he's doing are directly proportional to the degree of shit that he considers himself to be in. As he feels more and more engulfed by the potential of this Epstein thing, he's going to lash out more and more, create more and more things. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Right? Economy's numbers weren't good, so I fired the person in charge of the labor numbers. Fired him. Based upon all the self-imposed harm that I've created, myself and my minions have created upon the U.S. economy, which 6-7 months ago was slated for growth, a couple percentage points at least. The Epstein files. Just this and that and the other thing. And then you see this Russia meeting taking place in Alaska. 50th state. I think a total population of the state of maybe 750,000 people per the last year's census. 750,000, 750,000. And he's going to meet with Putin in Alaska. And assuming that they don't meet in Anchorage, and again, Anchorage, city of 300,000 population, greater Anchorage is 400,000, right? So if you don't meet there, that means that whole space, that massive space, they can meet anywhere. It's not like it's going to be like Helsinki in, I think it was 2017, where there were reporters there and this and that, asking him questions. He was made to look weak. No, won't be anything like that. You think he's going to have someone go in there with Putin and record the conversation? No. None of that. And that's part of I feel that's part of the play of Alaska. There's no one there. You already had the chief senator Murkowski. She basically, applauded the whole meeting. Yeah, it's a good idea. We should have more of this. God. Spineless. No credibility. But there's no eyes there. But we're still, in the end, giving him the legitimacy of having a meeting with a U.S. president on U.S. soil, which it's been several years. I don't know the exact date, year that last time that happened. The International Criminal Court, they consider Putin a war criminal, which basically means that any country that adheres with the court outside Russia would immediately detain this man. I know the U.S. doesn't adhere to that court, but Trump's just taken it to another level. Invaded a neighbor. What? For what reason? And I feel, in addition to that, Putin is a student of history. And the reason, I feel, one of the reasons why they're having this meeting in Alaska is because, 80-year timeline, 118 years ago, 1867, the U.S. bought Alaska from Russia. For the price of like $7.2 million, 1867, 118 years ago. More than that. 158 years ago. 158 years ago. And bought it. $7.2 million, which came out to be roughly 2 cents an acre. Bought that territory from Russia. So, 158 years later, the two are meeting. These two, one a fully blown autocrat, the other one on fast track, meeting with his mentor on his own soil, who's perpetuated a war with another, with his neighbor, and the U.S. is supposedly allied with as a part of NATO. He's meeting with this man on his own soil in a state that Russia gave up for a pretty good price. 158 years ago. Maybe they want it back. Maybe they want it back. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll do all this, but you give us this part of Alaska. You give us these islands off the coast. You give us this. You give us that. Right? And sure, then we'll do this. Then we'll do this with Ukraine. Yeah, you can get the win, Donald. That's what you want, isn't it? Right? Or maybe we'll give you something else. Right? We're going to make you look good. Get the collective country's gaze off of, the potential picture that could be coming out with you with a 13-year-old young blonde girl on your lap at Epstein's pool. They wouldn't want that. So we're going to make you look like a hero and then drown all that out. So, I feel this is like, it could be like, Don Corleone of the Godfather movie meeting with, Don Fazario, or whoever it was, Tartaglia, I'll give you this and you give me that, right? We'll throw those people under the bus. You could throw those people under the bus. We'll both look better. No concern for the American people. They're people of either nation, but we already know that about Putin. But Trump just seems to be getting a pass with this, right? And this whole thing with D.C., it's almost like a distraction against that whole Russia meeting, which is where all the cameras should be. He's compromised. He's a traitor. I feel that. Yes. Right? And they're doing this meeting in Alaska because they know that no cameras will be there. Well, very few. It's only going to be their own people. Still in U.S. soil. So it's an FU to the international community that supports Ukraine against Russia's illegal invasion. It's an FU to all them. This is the side I'm on, motherfuckers. This is the side I'm on. That's Trump saying to all them. And I feel that, yeah, part of it is the history of it. That these 160 years ago almost, that's when Russia bought or sold Alaska to the U.S. And Putin's a historian. And that's part of it. There's going to try to be a tit for tat of some kind. So, anyway, time will tell. But I feel that. All right. Lots of love. God bless. Bye-bye.